In this episode, I would like to have a look at the early history of France, and particularly late antiquity and early Middle Ages. So let's dive in, but before, please hit like and subscribe. Gaul was a region of Western Europe first clearly described by the Romans, encompassing present-day France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg and parts of Switzerland, Germany and northern Italy. Gaul was under provincial rule inside the Roman Empire from 1st century BC to the 5th century AD. According to Julius Caesar, who took control of the region on behalf of the Roman Republic, Gaul was divided into three parts: Gallia Celtica, Belgica and Aquitania. Gallia Cisalpina was conquered by the Romans in 204 BC and Gallia Narbonensis in 123 BC. Roman control of Gaul lasted for 5 centuries until the last Roman rump state, the domain of Soissons, fell to the Franks in 486 AD. The kingdom or domain of Soissons was a rump state of the Western Roman Empire in the northern Gaul, between the rivers Somme and the Seine, that lasted for some 25 years during the late antiquity. The rulers of the rump state, notably its final ruler, Syagrius, were referred to as kings of the Romans. The kingdom of Soissons began when Emperor Majorian 457 to 461 appointed Aegidius as Magister Militium of Roman Gaul. When Majorian was killed on the orders of Ricimer in 461, Aegidius maintained his own rule in the remnants of Roman Gaul. In the chaos of contemporary Gaul, he maintained his power against Franks to his east and Visigoths to his south. Aegidius died in 464 or 465. His son Syagrius succeeded to the rule. In 486, Syagrius lost the Battle of Soissons to the Frankish king Clovis I, and the domain was thereafter under the control of the Franks. Where do the tribe name Franks come from? Franks were a group of Germanic people whose name was first mentioned in 3rd century Roman sources and associated with tribes between the Lower Rhine and the Ems River on the edge of the Roman Empire. Although the Frankish name does not appear until the 3rd century, at least some of the original Frankish tribes had long been known to the Romans under their own names, both as allies, providing soldiers, and as enemies. The new name first appears when the Romans and their allies were losing control of the Rhine region. The Franks were first reported as working together to raid Roman territory. However, from the beginning, the Franks also suffered attacks upon themselves from outside their frontier area, by the Saxons, for example, and as a frontier tribes, they desired to move into Roman territory, with which they had centuries of close contact. Eminius addressed the Franks in the matter of the execution of Frankish prisoners in the Circus at Trier by Constantine I in 306, and certain other measures. Ubi nunc est ille ferocia, ubi sempre infida mobilitas, which means, where now is that ferocity of yours? Where is that ever untrustworthy fickleness Latin feroces was used often to describe the Franks. Contemporary definitions of Frankish ethnicity vary both by period and point of view. The formulary of Makulf, written about 700 AD, described as a continuation of national identities within a mixed population when it started, that all the people who dwell in the official province, Franks, Romans, Burgundians, and those of other nations, live according to their law and their customs. The Salian Franks, also called the Salians, were a northwestern subgroup of the early Franks who appeared in the historical record in the 4th and 5th centuries. They lived west of the Lower Rhine in what was then the Roman Empire and today the Netherlands and Belgium. The first historian to say that the Salians had been pushed into the empire from outside was Zosimus, but his description of events seems to be confused and derived from others. Zosimus states that their homeland may have been between the Rhine and the Ichzel in the modern-day Dutch region of Veluwe, Gelderland. In 358, the Salians came to some form of agreement with the Romans, which allowed them to keep settlement south of the delta in Toxandria between the rivers Scheldt, Meuse and the Mer, roughly the area of Kampen, which contains the modern Dutch province of northern Brabant and adjacent parts of two bordering Belgian, Limburg and Antwerpen provinces. Ripuarian or Rhineland Franks were the other main groupings of early Frankish people, and especially it was the name eventually applied to the tribes who settled in the old Roman territory of Ubi, with its capital at Cologne on the Rhine River in modern Germany. Their western neighbors were the Salian Franks, which we have discussed earlier. As we know from previously, they were named already in the late Roman records and settled with imperial permission within the Roman Empire in what is today the southern part of the Netherlands and Belgium, and later expanded their influence into the northern part of France, above Loire River, creating the Frankish Empire of Francia. Both the Sali and the Ripuari were new names and represented new groupings of all the tribal names on the Roman Rhine border. The ancestors of the Ripuari originally lived on the right bank of the river Rhine, where there had been a long history of friendly and unfriendly contact. Under pressure from their northern enemies, the Saxons, they were first able to infiltrate the left bank of the Rhine in 274 AD. In the chaotic years of the definite collapse of Roman power in Western Europe, they managed to occupy the Roman city of Cologne and the lower and middle Rhineland in present-day North Rhine-Westphalia. The name Ripuari clearly has a meaning of river people, but the exact way in which the name developed is unclear and may have involved both Latin and Germanic. The regular Latin form would be ripari, meaning men of the river bank. Clodio was a Frankish king who attacked and then apparently ruled Roman inhabited lands around Cambrai and Tournai, near the modern border of Belgium and France. Merovec, from 411 to 458, was the king of the Salian Franks, which later became the dominant Frankish tribe and the founder of the Merovingian dynasty. Several legends and myths surround his person. He is proposed to be one of the several barbarian warlords and kings that joined forces with the Roman general Aetius against the Huns under Attila at the Battle of Catalonian Plains in Gaul in 451. His grandson Clovis I became the founder of the Frankish kingdom. The family of the Childeric and Clovis the first Frankish large-scale royal dynasty, called themselves Merovingians, descendants of Merovius, after him. And this was known to historians in the following centuries, but no more contemporary evidence exists. Childeric I lived from 437 to 481 AD, was a Frankish leader of Imperial Roman Gaul and a member of the Merovingian dynasty, described as a king, Latin rex, both on his Roman-style seal ring, which was buried with him, and in fragmentary later records of his life. He was father of Clovis I, who acquired effective control over all of most Frankish kingdoms and a significant part of Roman Gaul. Clovis I was the first king of the Franks to unite all the Frankish tribes under one ruler, changing the form of leadership from a group of petty kings to rule by a single king, and ensuring that the kingship was passed down to his heirs. He is considered to have been the founder of the Merovingian dynasty, which ruled the Frankish kingdom for the next 2 centuries.